Good morning, everybody. It is Joe time. I have not done a Joe time video in quite a while. It is a brisk morning here in Wisconsin. I don't know if you can hear the geese that are flying over. I guess they're starting to, I don't know if they even head south anymore. I think that's kind of I think it's one of those things that people think that is not exactly correct, because I find all winter long those Canadian geese will stay anywhere in open water anyways. My neighbors are also around, but I want to do as many outdoor videos as I can while the weather is still good. So if you hear chitter chatter, it's neighbors out on their deck. So today we're going to talk about drivers, and do they have preferences? Do they cancel based on gender identity and race? And this is based on a news piece that I read, and I'm going to talk to you about that story. I'm going to dig a little deeper, but before we do, if you're not yet subscribed, please click my face down there in the corner and click that bell icon up above so you know when I post new videos. So this story is from a website called SFIST, SFIST or SFFist. So I'm not real familiar with it, but it sure seems to me like it probably has an agenda, but that's okay, because sometimes you have to open yourself up to different ideas and thoughts and opinions. Study finds that Black and LGBTQ, that's way too many alphabet letters, people still have rideshare drivers cancel on them more often. Now, this is going to reference a study called When Transparency Fails, Bias and Financial Incentives in Ride-Sharing Platforms. Now, I actually went to the source. I read the 31-page study. Well, I shouldn't say I read it. I perused it. I skimmed it. So which is probably more than the average person is going to do, right? And I'm going to read through this, and I'm going to let you make your opinions and give me your thoughts on whether or not this is valid. More importantly, what's the point of it? What can be done about it? So it says here what they did is they created profiles. And the profiles, let's see if I can find the actual names here. They used what they considered to be names that would be perceived to be ethnic or black sounding names and white sounding names. So they gave names like, for a black woman, Keisha or Latoya. For a black male, Rashid or Jamel. And for the white people, Emily, Allison, Brad, and Greg. All right, then they created some profile pictures, and I will show you those here. And they did a study, and they tried to see how many people were canceled based on their names. They said 92% of the people perceived Emily, Allison, Brad, and Greg as Caucasian, and Keisha, Latoya, Rashid, and Jamel as black. So they first tried to set it up, and this was based on a prior study, research, and names. So that's where how they put this together. And then they said 3,200 ride-hail attempts indicated that LGBT people were twice as likely, per the study, to have their rides canceled. Okay, also said that black men and black women were almost 3 times more likely to be canceled than their white-sounding counterparts. First of all, I guess the first thing I'm going to say, we know that bias and racism exist in our society, so I don't know anything's groundbreaking. What I would like to know, however, and I could not find a lot of details in the study when I skimmed through it. They did talk to surge rates, surge times. And they said surges did kind of affect it because people were less likely to get canceled during surges. But what they actually said is black drivers are less likely to cancel when they're paying more. I would also like to know where the people were all headed. I know from talking to a lot of you in your comments, I very rarely hear comments that I cancel someone because I thought they were black, Asian, Indian, white, whatever. Of course, most people aren't going to admit that anyway, right? But I do hear people say I cancel because of a neighborhood I'm heading to. Now, I don't know. I would hope that the study would have been real fair across the board and had them all going to the same locations. The other thing I would really like to know is, and they can't do this, I don't know if they could, but I would like to see a profile of the drivers. I'd like to see what kind of driver, because, when I look at this, I think, and you look at these pictures, and I'm imagining this is why it looks this way, but they all look like clean-cut, educated college kids to me. That's what they look like to me. All right. So, and I'm guessing it might be because it probably could be a college study. But I really wonder if we change the appearance. What if we made Brad look like a grizzly biker guy with a swastika tattooed across his head or something? Because appearances matter. But I'm also thinking something right now, and I'm not going to bring it out. But I'm thinking something about the pictures, and I know we have a really smart audience here. So I'm really curious if anyone can come up. What is my, this doesn't sound right, that someone's canceling based on pictures. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on that one. The LGBTQ, I know what it means. I couldn't even tell you what the letters stand for. However, I think people put out way too many abbreviations and make life way too difficult for me anyway. I just can't. What they did is they put a banner across it that was kind of a transparent rainbow. I don't know. Do most drivers even know what that means? Secondly, where are they picking people up? I think that would make a real difference. I said not only where are they going to, where are they picking them up? For example, if I'm down in Chicago and I'm in Boys Town, you think I'm going to cancel somebody because I think they're gay or transgender? That's ridiculous. Probably, 80% of the rides I'd pick up in that area would be transgender or, gay people. So I just think, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I guess it's because it's so outside my realm of experience. I can't imagine that I would cancel somebody because I thought they were black or I thought they were gay. It's so outside my realm of understanding. Now, as we get into, I don't want to go to a specific area of town. That I completely understand because drivers don't want to put themselves at risk. So I'm kind of mixed on this study. Number one, there are so many variables. I'm just wondering how, I'd like more details on the study, but I'd really like to know if we're really looking strictly at race bias, or if there are other things, in the control group, being the white group I assume is a control group, and the black group I would assume is a group that, the study group. And I just wonder, what other variables that these researchers did not get into. A lot of the study was based on just explaining how rideshare worked and how rides come up and that sort of thing. Now the reason I'm questioning some of this is I just had a ride cancel on me yesterday. I was in Long Island, or as the natives of the area say, Long Island, and I was getting a ride from kind of central Long Island, I would say, into LaGuardia. I put in my ping, got an acceptance right away, and I sent a text real quick so they'd know where I was, because I had a ride earlier in the week. It was crazy. I'll see if I can find the screenshot and show it here. But this woman was just going around in circles, and she was getting on the clover leaf and taking it 3 times to get back where she started. Finally, I had to start doing a screen recording to show how crazy this was. Unfortunately, I'd missed most of the fun stuff. But once I realized she can't find the place, so the next person, I told them exactly where I was. I said, I am, here's a hotel. I'm standing outside the hotel. Her response came, where are you heading? Bing, 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 bing. I knew exactly what was coming next. She's going to cancel me. I could have, and I know what a lot of you are going to say, you shouldn't have told her, Mark. But, I knew once I said LaGuardia, absolutely knew, beyond any shadow of a doubt, she was going to cancel. What I didn't want to do was wait for her to get to me, then say I'm going to LaGuardia, and then have her cancel. I didn't want that. That would have been wasting my time. It would have been very cool for the study, but we're pushing up against 3 o'clock, and I knew if I waited much longer than 3 o'clock, we're going to hit heavy-duty traffic, and I didn't want to do that. So I said LaGuardia. She did not apologize. She did not say, I'm sorry, that's too long, it's going the wrong direction. She didn't say anything, just boom, canceled. I tried to real quick send a message back to say, it's against Uber's terms of service to cherry pick. I sent that message, but it didn't go through. I got the bounce back saying, if you're trying to reach someone from Uber, you got to do it through the app and everything else. But it didn't go through because she had already canceled the ride, which confirmed to me a lot of things that we already knew, but it's just another affirmation. When these people say, oh, they kept texting me, they're harassing me, they got to my home. You can't. You cannot continue to text after they close out the ride. You're not in a connection with them anymore. Anyway, so this person canceled on me not because I was white, I was middle-aged, I was bald, whatever they assume about me. I was canceled because of where I was going. And that's why I wonder if that was, I have to give a little bit of leniency to these researchers because they don't know that. They're not drivers. So I think they don't know the right parameters to put in place in many cases. Now, am I saying that people do not cancel because of those reasons? Absolutely not. We know that bias and racism of all kinds exist in the world. Here's a bigger question that I'd like to ask all of you. What's the point? I mean, what can be done about it? That's what I would like to know. How can this change? The first thing that popped into my mind is, well, we can require drivers as well as riders to give a reason. Why was this ride canceled? Here's the problem why it's going to be ineffective. Because who's going to admit it's canceled because that person was black, that person was gay, that person was Asian, that person was white, that person was fill in the blank, Jewish. No one's going to admit that. So what they're just going to do is say something like, I accepted by accident. We have all accepted rides by accident. It doesn't happen a lot. I know I've accepted rides by accident. I've hit it and thought, oh geez. Or we could say, it's just too long. I bet that woman that canceled on me would have never admitted, I don't want to get into LaGuardia. What she would have said is, it's too far away. I'm ready to clock off. I just want to take a 5-minute ride. So people don't admit, so I don't know if there's a way to combat this. What's the point of having a study if you don't have a solution? So I'm going to put it out to you. Number one, what do you think of studies of this sort? First of all, are they valid? And secondly, if they are valid, what's the point? What can be done about it? I would very much like to hear your thoughts on this subject. Well, thanks for joining me, everybody, for another Joe Time video. Let's look at this side, because I enjoy looking at myself. You probably don't. Besides, this is a much better representation of me than this. It just looks better. So thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm Mark with UberHints.